What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to continue with our 2021 team preview prediction series. Happy Friday, and today we're going to be talking about the Penn State Nittany Lions. Can they rebound after a disappointing year in 2020? Hey, just a reminder, I am on vacation, so if anything in this video is out of date, I apologize. This video was recorded in advance of my week vacation. So anyways, if you guys enjoy, leave a like, hit that subscribe button down there. As of recording this, just at 150. So, hey, it means a lot to me. Let's keep that number going up. Ring the bell as well. Share the video. You guys know what to do. Keep it PG in the comment section. That's all I ask. And without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the Penn State Nittany Lions and a team that should be 10 times better this year than they were last year. Last year was a disappointment. Started off the season 0-5, did end up winning their last 4 games, but it was not a good season. Not a good season last year for Penn State at all. It was just a poor year. Nothing seemed to go right. They were one of the teams that were really affected by not COVID, but more so opt-outs and injuries. Of course, we all know about Micah Parsons opting out. You also had some running back issues as well. Everything just seemed to go wrong for Penn State. And this year they look to get back on track. I think they can. I think this is still a really good team with some nice talent. But let's look at the pieces that they are leaving. First off, quarterback Will Levis, however you want to say it. He is gone. He entered the transfer portal, ended up transferring over to Kentucky. So Will Levis is gone. Journey Brown is also gone. Of course, heartbreaking story on what happened to Journey Brown. Heart condition. Doctor said, hey, playing football might not be the best idea for you right now, and probably not ever. So it does not look like Journey Brown's going to get back on the football field anytime in his future, which is a very sad tale. You hate to see a kid that's as talented as Journey Brown say, we're pulling the plug. So I'm sure he was frustrated, sad, but the smart move was for him to step off of the football field. So he will not be with Penn State next year, and neither will Pat Freiermuth, tight end. Of course, we all know how good Pat Freiermuth was. Again, had a down year last year, but was off to the NFL. Michael Mennett, Will Fries, I'm pretty sure it's Freeze, gone as well off that offensive line. So we're going to look to fill those pieces. I think Penn State's going to be fine. And on the defense, they're losing some talent as well. Shaka Toney, Jason Owe, gone off the defensive line. Of course, Micah Parsons is gone, jumped in the Commissioner Goodell's arms after being selected by the Cowboys. And defensive back Lamont Wade, I believe all those guys ended up going to the NFL. Among some other names gone as well that, of course, are not on this list. But as the old saying goes, it's not about what you lost. It is about what you have. And again, some nice talent. You have Sean Clifford coming back and still a plethora of running backs. Devin Ford and Noah Kane are returning players off of that team last year. But don't overlook John Lovett, a running back from Baylor coming over from the transfer portal. He can be a vital asset to an offense. I've liked John Lovett ever since he was at Baylor. He's a solid runner, really knows how to find the holes, is quick, agile. He's going to be an excellent addition to this Penn State team. Don't think he'll be the number 1 running back out of the gate, but it definitely is going to be one of those 3. Also got Kavion Lee back there. This team is loaded at the running back position. It's going to be a run-first team next year for sure, unless Sean Clifford can have a rebound season. And he's got some nice pass catchers. Jahan Dotson, Parker Washington, just to name a few. Jahan Dotson, one of the guys that's absolutely incredible. Shane Simmons on the defensive line. And then you have Jesse Luketa and Ellis Brooks. Ellis Brooks is going to be fantastic this year. I can feel it. Jaquan Brisker probably going to end up being that leading defensive backer as well. So lots to like here if you're a Penn State Nittany Lion fan. But taking a look at the schedule, there are a lot of tricky games on the schedule. There are lots of places where Penn State can trip up, so you got to watch out if you are a Nittany Lion fan. Last year, they went 4-5. You can do a quick, brief overview of the schedule, but they went 4-5, and it was strictly Big Ten play, so 4-5 in the Big Ten. Did, of course, lose the first 5 games, but found their way toward the end of the season. 4th in the Big Ten East by my metrics, and they didn't play in a bowl game last year. Hey, you guys know how this works. I'm going to talk about some games more than others. They're more interesting matchups to me. If it gets highlighted in green, it's a win. If it gets highlighted in red, it's a loss. So without further ado, talking about Penn State, starting off with the game against Wisconsin in week 1 on the road, playing in Camp Randall. This is going to be a great game. Both of these teams are going to look to rebound after disappointing seasons last year. I've already made this prediction in my Wisconsin video. You should go back and watch that if you're interested on how you think I think the Badgers are going to do in 2021. But anyways, going to be a fantastic game. You have Graham Mertz starting at quarterback for Wisconsin and lots of talent on the defense. Lots of talent surrounding Graham Mertz as well. Wisconsin is one of those teams that might be getting a little too much hype this year, but I think it's deserved. I think if Graham Mertz can play the way he played last year and even improve, I should say play like he played in the first week of last year and improve his game beyond there, this is going to be a fantastic team. They got lots of good playmakers on defense. I don't think Penn State's going to be able to get out of the gate as good as we think they're going to be. I have Penn State losing this game to the Wisconsin Badgers. I see it being a close game, but I see Camp Randall just being a little bit too much for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And then they get to come back home and play 4 straight games in Happy Valley. And it starts off with the Ball State Cardinals. Look, don't overlook this Ball State team. Drew Plitt is coming back at quarterback. A lot of nice talent coming around him as well from a 7-1 team that I believe finished in the top 25 last year. Ball State probably, in my opinion at least, is favored to win the MAC again this year. They're a pretty solid team. This game could be close for a quarter, maybe a half if Ball State can push it. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Penn State versus Ball State here. Penn State's got way too much talent. I think they're going to be able to get this win here against the Cardinals. Then a home game against Auburn. And this was the game that I was looking forward to watch because both of these teams are looking to rebound after disappointing seasons last year. Auburn still has nice pieces on offense. Bo Nix, Tank Bigsby, Seth Williams could be the most overlooked quarterback, running back, wide receiver trio in the nation this year. But we all know how good it can be when it's going. Gus Malzahn is out as the head coach. That experiment was going downhill. I think as most Auburn fans could attest to. So they're bringing in Brian Harsin, a guy from Boise State that should improve the offensive line in a couple years. I think it's going to get a little bit better this year. But with the playmakers that Penn State still has in its front 7, I think they're going to be able to get pressured at Bo Nix. And I think putting Brisker on Seth Williams might be the play here in this game. Penn State's got a lot of nice defensive backs as well. Besides Brisker, I think Penn State's going to have a field day in this one. I think they can beat Auburn by 2 touchdowns, and I think they're going to get this win against the Auburn Tigers. A home game against Villanova. Villanova's a really good FCS team, but they're an FCS team. Exactly my point. I do have Penn State winning that game easily. If that were a basketball game, I'd pick Villanova, but it's not. Football game, picking Penn State. Now a home game against Indiana. I did Indiana just earlier this week, so you'll know my pick on this if you watch that video. This is also going to be a phenomenal game. Indiana, of course, is that team in the Big Ten that surprised everyone last year and is expected to do so again this year. There are a couple people not believing the hype. I myself am one that have Indiana as a potential 10-win team. Again, if you saw my Indiana video, you know the record I have is them is 9-3. And this is going to be a solid Indiana team. Again, they have that quarterback, Michael Penix, coming back. Ty Freifogel back as well. They got a guy from the transfer portal, Stephen Carr, to replace Stevie Scott. Lots of guys on defense coming back as well in what was a very underrated defense last year. I just think that this game is going to be the whiteout game. It might be the game against Michigan, but I think this is going to be a definite top 25 battle right here. This might even be a top 15 battle. Who knows? Indiana could come into this one undefeated. They absolutely could. Now, they have some tricky games in the beginning, but don't put it out of the picture to have Indiana coming in to this game 4-0. Penn State could also be coming in this game 4-0. I think this is going to be a high-stakes game in the Big Ten East. This could be the game for second place, as I have Ohio State going undefeated. This could be the second-place game in the Big Ten East. So a lot riding on here. Potential spot in the New Year's Six Bowl. I'm predicting that this is going to be the whiteout game, and for that reason, I am picking the Penn State Nittany Lions. Playing in the whiteout is the hardest thing that you can ever do. Take it from an Ohio State fan who has watched Ohio State struggle 3 consecutive years as that has been the whiteout game for the past 3 times that Ohio State has gone to Happy Valley. It is insane. It's crazy. It's a hard environment to play in. I am picking the Penn State Nittany Lions to win that game, what I think is just a slightly underprepared Indiana team. Then a road game against the Iowa Hawkeyes. You cannot count out Kirk Ferentz at home, but Iowa's losing a lot off the offensive and defensive lines. It looks like a mismatch, but I feel like Penn State's going to be coming off of a high. I feel like Penn State is going to be a little too confident coming into this game. I just have a feeling that the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to knock off the Penn State Nittany Lions. Iowa's going to have a pretty solid team this year, but Spencer Petras is still developing. We'll have to see how he plays this year, in my opinion. But ultimately, I think that Iowa just has the slight edge, not the talent edge, but just playing at home in the hard environment. This is probably going to end up being a night game, in my opinion, under the lights. Even if it's a day game, it's going to be close, hard fought. Going to be one of those Penn State Iowa classics that we've seen a couple times, and I think Iowa gets it done. Then they get their bye week, and it's an okay place for a bye week. Definitely better spots if you're a Penn State fan. Then at home against Illinois. This could be the worst team in the Big Ten, but they do have a new head coach in Brett Bielema, some nice playmakers around. You know that this is going to be a smash mouth, run first kind of team. And boy, that's the kind of team that Penn State wants to see on the field this year. They're poised to handle that kind of team. I have them easily beating the Illinois Fighting Illini. And then another tough one on the road against Ohio State. This is going to be a hard game for Penn State to win. I just mentioned it earlier. I have Ohio State going undefeated, so I'll flash it up red here. Ohio State's got the best group of wide receivers in the nation, period. And they have 2 of the 3 best wide receivers in the nation, in my opinion. Hint, hint for top 10 wide receivers coming later this summer. Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson are the best wide receiver duo in the nation, period. And behind them is the best group of wide receivers in the nation, period. Some underrated running backs as well. They have Travion Henderson coming in, Master T coming back, Steele Chambers, Mayan Williams still there. The only problem I see for Ohio State, I'm not so worried about the quarterback position. It's that linebacking position. And with the running backs that Penn State has as well, Penn State could have, Penn State could make it difficult for Ohio State with the run game. And then when you have the run game going, hey, that opens up the pass game for Jahan Dotson and Parker Washington to do work against a defensive back group that struggled last year. I think this is going to be a hard game for both sides. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game as it has been in years past, but I do have the Ohio State Buckeyes coming out on top, just the more talented team, in my opinion, and I think they're ready to play this game. Then Penn State has to go on the road against Maryland. Another tricky road game for Penn State. Maryland got them last year, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty in Happy Valley. Maryland was able to run all over Penn State. This is going to be a much closer game this year, and Maryland has the potential to pull off some upset. They're going to pull off an upset against one big name, believe me, you. Wait till we get into more Big Ten teams like Iowa, Rutgers, Michigan. Hey, Maryland might pull off an upset against Iowa, Michigan. I don't think they're going to pull off an upset here against Penn State. I think Penn State coming off that Ohio State game, it might be just that close. I think Penn State's going to come out with something to prove the rest of the season. I think they win this game. Now the game against Michigan. Michigan's also going to be a much improved team, but again, the story in Happy Valley, this could also potentially end up being the whiteout game, as Michigan could be ranked in the top 25. This could be another classic top 25 matchup. We've seen good games between Michigan and Penn State before as well, but I have the Nittany Lions winning this one. I just don't see Michigan getting by Penn State this year. Michigan's got some players transferring out, transferring in. It's going to be an entirely new look for the Michigan Wolverines this year, at least in my opinion. I think Penn State gets it done. But again, Michigan can make the game competitive. Rutgers is up next, and are they a pushover anymore? Absolutely not. Rutgers is going to be competitive, at least somewhat in the Big Ten, but you're Penn State. You should be able to beat Rutgers at home, no problem. And then a road game against Michigan State to close out the 2021 campaign. I don't like Michigan State this year. They could be the worst team in the Big Ten, and right now I think they are. Maybe second behind Purdue. But Michigan State, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Mel Tucker has not proven himself to be a head coach anywhere. Didn't prove himself to be a head coach last year. I don't see that changing this year. Give Mel Tucker some more time. He might come around, but next year, I just don't see it. A lot of people think, Michigan State's getting underhyped. This is a bowl game team. I don't see it. I think Penn State will run all over Michigan State in this game. And with that, you see 3 games highlighted in red, and that means I have Penn State going 9-3 in 2021. Best case scenario, I see them going 11-1. They get Indiana at home. That's a huge win. Wisconsin on the road, Iowa on the road. Those are tricky games. I think they can win that. Ohio State's the one game that I don't think they can win. I think Ohio State's too talented for Penn State. Yes, Penn State can make it close, but I see Ohio State winning that game. And worst case I have is 7-5. If you look at all the tricky road games they have to play, this might be the hardest road slate in the Big Ten. Might be. Maybe besides Indiana. Indiana's got a lot of hard games on the road too. But on the road against Wisconsin, on the road against Iowa, on the road against Ohio State, on the road against Maryland, and even on the road against Michigan State. I don't think Michigan State's going to be that good, but it's still a hard place to play. So Penn State, you're going to have an interesting season in 2021. I can't wait to see how the Nittany Lions fare. But I do have them going 9-3, all 3 of those losses coming to Big Ten opponents on the road. And that's going to do it for my 2021 preview predictions for the Penn State Nittany Lions. You guys know what to do. Promote the channel, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. Keep it PG in the comments section. Share the video as well. I'm taking the weekend off again. And when we come back, we're going to be looking at the Washington Huskies. Can the Huskies prove to be a contender in the Pac-12? You'll have to find out on Monday. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See all you guys on Monday. Again, we'll talk about Washington. Goodbye.